Now, sports from the First National Bank Sports Desk. First National Bank of North Platte, the bank to think of first.
Time for another edition of KNEB.TV Sports, and we've got a special guest today. We'll get to some Gering High School football on Monday's edition, but when the 7th all-time leading scorer in men's Division I college basketball history stops by, it's time to get into the TV booth. Kimball native Mike Daum making an appearance here at KNEB. Appreciate you stopping in, big fella.
Yes, sir. No problem. I'm glad I could.
All right, we got plenty to talk about here. So, when we did the interview on the phone, I had you do the pronunciations. I'm going to give it a shot right now. Santiago de Compostela is where you're heading to.
Yep.
And the team you're going to play for in Spain is Mambas Obradoiro. Am I close?
Correct.
All right.
Yep,
so
right on.
All right. We'll get to that. Let's start. You finish up at Kimball.
Yep.
You make the decision to go to South Dakota State. Did you have any idea your career was going to turn out the way it did?
Not at all. For me, coming from a small town, I was just so excited to have Division I interest. With both my parents playing Division I, they knew what it took to get there, and that's kind of how they built me to get my mindset right to get to the Division I level. And from then on, it was me just going in with the mindset of I want to help a team win. I want to do whatever it takes to play, whether it was sitting on the bench or whether it was contributing to the team. I just wanted to do whatever it takes to help that program out, and at the end, it turned out to go pretty well for me.
How important was your redshirt season to get acclimated to the college game, a weight program, a training table, and really get your body prepared for the rigors of D1 hoops?
It was huge. I have to give a huge shout out to my strength and conditioning coach up there, Eric Adolph. He was the one who really kind of took me and started to mold me into something that he saw in me that I didn't see in me yet. So that redshirt year was something that I had to take to the head. It was hard for me because, I come in with 2 other freshmen and they're both playing and I'm out redshirting. So for me, it was that mindset once again. I just got to stay positive. I got to push myself through that time. And, at the end, it turned out good because I changed my body and I was able to get ready for the Division I game.
Your redshirt freshman season, the numbers you put up in somewhat limited minutes became pretty eye-popping for everybody around the region. You guys get to the Summit League Conference Tournament, and really, to me, aside from some of the big numbers you put up, that first year at that conference tournament is really when you burst onto the scene, and you kind of personally own the conference tournament for 3 straight years.
Yeah, the Summit League was awesome. It was a great conference to play in. The competition level was fantastic for me at South Dakota State, but that freshman year was so much fun just because, it really went from, a slow start to the season playing 7-8 minutes a game to finally getting up to, that 15, 16, 20-minute game. And I was just, I just went in and did what Coach told me. I was able to, take open shots that I normally take and hit. And then, rolling into that conference tournament, I saw the year before, my redshirt year, how the team went losing in the championship game, and I saw how down everybody was. Personally, I didn't really feel that. I wasn't playing. So I saw that, and I was like, I don't want this to happen. To me, the next year around, we get there, and I was just happy to be a contributor to that team and winning that thing.
And you dealt with a coaching change while you're up at SDSU. You went from Coach Nagy to Coach Otzelberger, but the one constant was Mike Daum. 3 NC2A tournament appearances. Maryland, Gonzaga. Who'd you play the 3rd year?
Ohio State.
3 heavyweights.
Yeah.
Who was the best player you played against in your entire college career?
I would have to say Zach Collins from Gonzaga. We played Kansas. We played, Nevada. We played against a lot of high-level guys. But, at the end of the day, he was so tall, so lengthy, and his ability to move his feet at his height made him an elite level player, and that's why he's in the NBA today. And he's going to have such a successful year. But Zach Collins was definitely one of the toughest guys I've had to play against. Yeah,
you told me a few minutes ago when they stuck him on you, you really struggled. They stuck everyone on you in that ball game. Daum catches the ball, it was like swarm the basketball.
Yeah, no, it was tough. We had a group of guys who were so unselfish, and we knew that the key was going to be to try to shut me down, and we had other guys still step up during games like that, but it was always fun. Just whoever they put on me didn't matter. I enjoyed going out there and playing with my guys.
One of the great coaches in the country, Mark Few, and what he had to say about you after the ball game really rung true with a lot of people around here is just how far you'd come as a player and how good you'd actually become. So let's fast forward. It didn't go the way you wanted to down the stretch. Your senior year, you guys get knocked out, surprisingly, in the first round of the conference tournament. No NC2A tournament, and you go down to Texas and lose to the Longhorns in the first round of the NIT. So you wake up the next morning, you start to get to work, and all of a sudden something comes up. You wind up with a little bit of an injury. How'd that impact the offseason, pre-draft stuff, combine, everything like that? I know it was a little bit of a disappointment. Terrible timing for an injury.
It was terrible timing. Like you said, so once that game was over, the NIT, we got knocked out. It's how my mind works. I woke up the next morning and I went back out to the court and just started running again. Wanted to stay in shape just because I knew, for me, the NBA pre-draft process was coming up, and I was like, this is a time for me where I can stay in shape, keep myself mentally ready for, basketball. And, I kept running for about a week after that, and my foot started hurting a little bit. And I went into the doctor's office, found out I had a stress fracture in my second metatarsal and fifth metatarsal. And that was kind of, a devastating blow for me at the time, just because I was getting ready to fly out to Phoenix to get going with the pre-draft stuff. And I knew the NBA Combine was coming up. I knew I had, Summer League coming up and all those things to look forward to. And at the time, mentally, I was just kind of on a setback. And I thought to myself, man, how am I going to respond from this? How can I make it better? So for me, going to that pre-draft process, I remember going in with all the other guys, just like I was going to work out, and I just sat in a chair and dribbled all day and did a bunch of 1-foot shooting, and just knew that I had to, keep myself mentally going. And, at the end of the day, I knew I was still getting better in certain ways, even though I wasn't, going full bore with my foot. And then that in turn led to, I didn't get invited to the NBA Combine, which was tough again. But, with my mindset, everything happens for a reason. I was still positive during all of this process, and I knew that if I took the time off, I was going to be ready for Summer League, and I did get that opportunity.
So tough break in a way, if you will, with the foot injury, but you catch the good break with the Portland Trailblazers inviting you to the Summer League out in Vegas. What was that experience like?
It was an amazing experience. For me to be able to go out to Portland the week before, just work out with those guys, be able to, pick the brains of some of the NBA guys that were there. With Zach Collins, CJ McCollum was there. And then just the overall experience, getting to know the coaching staff and being able to talk to them about, what I need to do personally to progress my future into eventually coming back to the NBA, things like that. So the experience was amazing. Going out to Vegas, being able to play with high-level NBA guys, being able to play against, guys you see, about all the time on ESPN was an awesome experience. And for me, I'm very grateful for the Portland staff for picking me up and allowing me to do that.
What those guys tell you have to do to become the best version of yourself to get back to the league?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is shooting the ball. They just want to see, with the trend of the NBA going in the way it is, they want to see guys that are consistently shooters, which, good Lord willing, for me, that's been something that hasn't been tough. I've always had a good shot, and for me moving forward, it's just getting my body more physically ready for the game, maturing, and, one thing they want to see is just the maturity of a player. So for me, being able to, eventually go overseas here in a little bit and get that first professional year under my belt, that means a lot coming back to, those guys in the league, just because you do have that experience that, a lot of those rookies don't have.
Spain, how did this come about? The ins and outs of getting in contact with this team? Did they reach out to you? How'd this all happen?
Yeah, so they reached out to my agent. My agent, he's done a lot for me. I've known him for the past 3 years, been able to build up a good relationship with him. So moving forward, teams all go through him, and he pretty much filters everything out and then gives it to me in layman's terms. So Mambas Obradorio came up. I knew it was a good team because I actually had one of my close friends, Matt Thomas, played there 2 years ago, coming out of Iowa State, his first year professionally. So I was able to hit him about it, talk to him, and I knew it was going to be a great situation.
As far as the timeline to getting over there, it seems like it's happening pretty quickly.
It is. It's funny. I was actually supposed to fly out this past Monday, head out and be to Spain by Tuesday, but there's a lot of little things you got to do with getting a work visa. So I've been in the process of getting my fingerprints all taken care of and sending all that out, and then I have to wait for my criminal record to come back. And I know nothing bad is on that, thank goodness. But Yeah, so once that gets back, I pretty much plan my trip to Chicago, have a final face-to-face meeting with the embassy there, and then I take off for Spain.
Mom and Dad probably aren't hating the fact that there's a lot of red tape for you to get through because you've had a few nights to be able to be at home, probably sleep in your own bed, eat some home-cooked meals. How excited are Mom and Dad to get this adventure started? Because I'm sure they're going to be making plenty of trips.
Oh, yeah, they're pumped. They're so excited for me, and through the ups and downs of things, they were still positive too, and they're a big factor of what motivates me to keep going each day. And I know they're so excited for me. They're so proud of me. And I know they're already talking. They're trying. I know my mom's the type to just book the trip and tell my dad, a week before, like, hey, we're flying to Spain this week, and my dad will be like, okay, but. No, they're good. They're excited for me, and I'm just super excited. I got to come home for a week before having to fly out and just spend some good quality time with them.
So when's the ball tip off? When are you gonna start putting the rock in the hole over in Spain?
I think season starts into September, so into September to June. So it's a good solid 9-month season, and guys are getting ready to do preseason right now over there. So I'm just ready to get over there and get everything going.
The town, Santiago de Compostela. The team.
Yep.
Mambas de Obrio.
Mambas Obradorio.
Okay, I knew I'd screw it up along the way, but I gave it a shot.
Yep.
All right,
good.
Mike Daum from Kimball.
Appreciate it.
Great career in college. Best of luck when you head to Spain, and thanks for
you.
stopping down today.
Yep, appreciate it. Thank you.
We'll come back with more early next week. We'll check in with Gearing football and head coach Josh Hyatt right here on KNEB.TV.